Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by Larry Masterman from the City of Medford Emergency Management. Larry, thanks for being here. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm well, thank you.
Good, thank you for being here. So a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks regarding this Cascadia subduction zone and the risk for an earthquake here in the Northwest, and a lot of that coming from this New Yorker article that vividly describes what could happen. How likely are we to see an earthquake of that kind of large magnitude here in the Northwest?
It's inevitable that we're going to see that at some point. And way before the New Yorker article came out, kind of the mantra in emergency management with earthquake and other things has been, it's not a matter of if this is going to happen, if we're going to see this, but when. And we're, according to the geology, we're overdue for an earthquake of that magnitude, that big Cascadia type of event. So, you know, the key is we can see it any time. It might happen before you and I are done here. It may not happen for another 100 years. We just don't know. Yeah, exactly. It's a very, very long time period that it could happen. And we've heard from the governor herself talking about the Medford Viaduct, you know, not being able to sustain the road there on I-5. It's really important that people prepare and be able to survive on their own. Is that fair? How long should people be able to kind of have rations? That's absolutely the key. And people need to understand that government's not going to be able to come and provide everything they need after an event like that. And think Katrina. The experts are telling us this, when the whole Cascadia unzips, it's going to make Katrina look like a lightweight, a picnic in the park. So individual preparedness is absolutely important. It's crucial. And for a long time, people have said, you should be ready for 3 days. In this part of the country at this point in time, we recommend people be ready for 2 weeks if they can. Wow. If you have a kit that's good for 3 days, that's better than nothing, but more is better. And we want you to be able to survive, be self-sufficient, look after your family, your pets, maybe even your neighbors for at least that long. And that means you have to have water.
Yeah. How much water is there? That's a lot.
Everybody recommends a gallon a day per person or per pet. So water's essential. We can't get by for 3 weeks without water. You have to have shelter from the elements, whether it's 108 degrees out there, like we may see in the middle of this week, or whether it's 25 degrees out there, you have to have shelter from the elements. Clothes, tents, whatever it might be, sunscreen, things like that. Having food is important, but getting information is crucial too. So a battery-operated or solar-powered or hand-cranked radio so you can get notices from government, from the media. The media is a terribly important partner in preparedness. And you folks are the ones that can carry the message out there when, you know, we can't go out there door to door.
Very good. All right, interesting. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Larry in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Larry Masterman from the City of Medford Emergency Management Office. So, Larry, we talked a lot about, obviously, the importance of water in when this big earthquake comes. What other things should people do to prepare for that earthquake?
We say have a kit, have a plan, and get engaged. So a kit needs to include water, food, shelter, you know, those kinds of things. The next thing is have a plan, and which you do first isn't important. The important thing is to start now, start today. So your plan should include how are you going to communicate with your family when the telephones are out, when the cell phone system is overwhelmed and has collapsed. How are you going to reunite your family if mom and dad are at different places at work and the kids are at school? How and where will you get together again? The plan includes things like, how will we evacuate our home in the middle of the night? Do we evacuate? Do we know how to shelter in place? All of those are parts of plans, and there's a wealth of information available on the web on how to plan, how to build a kit. Of course, you can just buy a kit if that's what you want to do, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated, but we need to start now. And then get engaged, get involved, volunteer. You can become an amateur radio operator. Anyone can do that now. You don't have to learn Morse code anymore. You can learn first aid and CPR. You can learn CERT training. The Community Emergency Response Team training is excellent, about 24 hours of training in all kinds of things, casualty care, light rescue, those types of things. So there's a lot that anybody can do. They can volunteer to become part of a CERT team. They can become volunteers in other organizations or government agencies in their communities. Those three things are the key, and those take the hopelessness out of things like the New Yorker article. we can survive these things. We've survived them before.
Sure.
The 1964 earthquake in Alaska was about the same magnitude we're talking about with Cascadia. Only 129 people died in that whole event. Most were from the tsunami. Some of those died as far away as Crescent City, California. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it doesn't have to be hopeless. And the article might leave people feeling like this is so huge, there's nothing we can do. Mm-hmm. We don't want that.
What are the chances that our cell phone towers are able to manage this? You know, the power companies will be able to stay on. The water will continue to run from the faucet. Is that, if we're talking, I mean, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 100 years, like you said, but that type of huge 9+ magnitude earthquake, can any of those survive at all?
We should count on none of those surviving.
Okay.
And so think about, even if the cell phone towers are standing, the system would be overwhelmed. Everybody's going to be calling Aunt Bertha in Omaha. Mm-hmm. We know time and time again that collapses. If you've ever gone to the Civil War, try making a phone call from the stadium toward the end of the game. You just can't do it. The system's overwhelmed.
Okay.
And so the water delivery systems, there's so many bridges, overpasses, and things like that. Expect I-5 to be a problem, expect other roads to be undermined by slides or covered by landslides that have come down on top of them.
Sure.
So the best thing to do is to plan on none of those things being serviceable, and so we need to be self-sufficient.
Okay, and people, you guys are the Center of Emergency Management there on the City of Medford. You guys have set something up on the website as well? We're
building a website for that. People can go to the city website, cityofmedford.org, and there's an emergency preparedness button there. You can click on that, and there's a little bit of information there now. We're building on that just about every day. So, and there's ready.gov is a federal resource. Great stuff there. Okay. The American Red Cross website has a lot of great information as well. There's no reason to not understand what you can do, and these will take you through all the steps.
Very good. Larry, great to meet you.
Thank you
so much for being here.
My pleasure.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.